Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into a new edition of the Batter Up podcast, sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood here on the Sports Insanity Network. Mike, Mark, and Dan with you. Gentlemen, good morning. How are you?
Very happy. Great to be here. Good mood. And no, I'm not on anything.
I love that's the response. I'm not on anything, trust me.
I'm doing okay. It's Knicks basketball Sunday, so that's a good thing.
Yep, Knicks game 4.
Let's hope
Mhm.
that they win and take a commanding series lead. But the Detroit Pistons are kind of a thorn, so it's gonna be that type of series. That and the Yankees got to make up some ground after that horrible uh loss on Friday.
We will talk some Yankees. We will talk some Mets as well. Uh, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Thursday, this upcoming Thursday, will be May 1st. That's insane to me. But listen,
It,
we'll be a
the
month into
year's
the
flying
season.
by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. Stay tuned for a Bombers banter, live Bombers banter with me and Bill Murphy will recap March and April, which, as expected, was up and down for the Yankees. So we'll just keep a lookout for that. We don't know when, but keep a lookout. Um,
Keep them wanting more, baby. Keep them wanting
yes.
more.
Yeah, I'm about to be 30 in like a week. So
I know.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
club, baby. Welcome to the
I'm
club.
excited. I'm telling you, like, I'm actually really excited. Like I don't know what 30s are gonna look like for me, but I hope it's better than 20s, you know?
30s is your time to turn it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, professionally for sure. Um,
30's the
a lot
new
of things.
18.
Yeah.
That's what
There
the
you
young
go.
kids are saying.
Instead of what's up with that PlayStation whack, what's up? That type of stuff.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Oh man. All right. But I do want to start with I don't know how I skipped this last week, but I figure we'll start it off this week. World Baseball Classic, which comes back next year. We have two captains named for the United States and Puerto Rico, and ironically enough, they play in the same state. Aaron Judge will be the captain of Team USA, which will once again be managed by Mark DeRosa. And Francisco Lindor will be the captain of Team Puerto Rico. I'm not sure who the manager was last time because I think Yachty was the Dominican Republic manager, if I'm not mistaken.
Yadier Molina.
Yeah, he was.
He's not Puerto Rican. I thought he was.
He could have been the manager.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Google that now, but uh, Mark, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on Aaron Judge and Lindor being named captains?
I'm only going to focus on the negative. I think it's an honor to be named captain for your team's country in the World Baseball Classic. It strikes fear into me because of what happened to Edwin Diaz. I love the World Baseball Classic. I really do. I think it's a great thing, but I think teams should have the right to say, I'm sorry, my $50 million player is not going to go out and play this with a chance of, after seeing what happened with Diaz. I'm sure every owner is sweating bullets.
I do want to say this: it is Yadier Molina, and Carlos Beltran will serve as the team's general manager.
So
So it
I
is
again
Molina.
I
That is my bad.
yeah,
So,
I like the World Baseball Classic, but I would truly wish that teams had that right to pull star players back.
Okay, so with that being said, though, just your thoughts on
Mm.
the
I,
the
I,
captain.
yeah, as I said, it's an honor to be named that to represent your team, and they can be there. They want to coach the team, fine, but as I said, playing on the other hand worries me.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously, Judge being Captain America for the baseball team, the World Baseball Classic is great, but there's a reason why I enjoyed not having to sweat it out with him playing the last time. And that's because I want to be sure that when the season comes, that he's healthy. Now, if you were to do this in mid-season form and this will replace the All-Star break, we'll have like a whole month of like All-Star stuff being replaced by the World Baseball Classic. That's one thing. But before the season, I want my boys to be in spring training. You know, it's a great event though, but I think they just need to tweak the timing of the tournament. If not 2026, definitely moving forward.
Yeah, look, I, I think when you're talking also to Mark's point, the Edwin Diaz thing, which still is such a crusher in Mets fans' minds, but mainly because if he played for any other team, it would never have happened. Like let's be brutally honest, but I love the event because it's best on best national pride, kind of like the Olympics. But to Dan's point, if you wanted to make the All Star break a little bit longer and make it a single elimination tournament, kind of like what the NHL did this year with the Four Nations tournament, if anyone paid attention to that. It was a great tournament, by the way. But that being said, I listen, Aaron Judge being named Captain America after David Wright was already Captain America. We'll digress. Aaron Judge is the second, is the top two player in baseball. It's him, it's Ohtani, however you want to go. We need the faces of the game to play in this because it is going to be a global outreach of the game. So people in South Korea can watch Aaron Judge. People in Japan can watch Aaron Judge. People here get to see the next Japanese phenom that's going to come, whoever that may be. So I love the event, but to your point, Dan, I don't disagree with you. Maybe figure out better timing as opposed to right before the season starts while guys should be in spring training.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of these players are not ready to play baseball full time yet. They're still getting into the groove of things.
Yeah, so we got another World Baseball Classic coming next year. See what happens with Mets luck, and something's gonna happen to another Met player, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right. Let's dive into real baseball stuff. I do want to start with something that happened last night. Eugenio Suarez of the Diamondbacks. 4 homers in a game against the Braves, even though the Braves won the game 8-7 in 10 innings. First time in 8 years a player homered 4 times in a game. So
Yeah, and the 19th person in Major League history to
yeah.
do it.
So
Gino Suarez is incredible.
He's a beast.
Like, he's a lot better now than I ever thought he was, and I've already thought he was a great player. But man, his power is just taking off this season. And good for him. Like he's worked his ass off, being basically denied by so many different teams. And found his rightful home, Arizona.
Yeah.
Good third baseman. Good at defense, obviously good at offense. I'm glad he's having the year he's having.
He got off to a great start for Arizona after the trade from Seattle. All right.
And some of those home runs were no gimmies. Like that was
Oh, he's got some light tower power.
oh man.
Oh,
That's someone you want to watch MVP watch. Like
Arizona's got a couple of guys. Corbin Carroll's off to a really
Yep.
good start.
well,
To the people of Arizona, my apologies on Zach Gallen's start.
Yeah.
That's on me.
You drafted him, huh?
No, I said he was going to win NL Cy Young.
Oh, okay.
I drafted Corbin Burns. I want that route.
well, he has time. It's only 1 month, but
Right.
I know. But listen, I'm also the guy who I'm not going to get into my fantasy issues at times. All right. Mark, let's get into what happened this week in Mets land, which was busting out the brooms on those hated rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies.
This was an important 3-game series for the Mets, especially against the number one rival for them in the NL East. They didn't just showed up. They did not. They came out and pulverized Nola. They beat Wheeler. They can prove they can go up against any team in baseball. However, there's one thing the Mets are doing that they should not be doing. Is that a lot of these little small errors that have cost games. Ball off a foot and stuff like that. But beating the Phillies is a statement this early in the season.
And especially coming off the playoffs where,
Right.
you want to prove, hey, this was no fluke. We're as good as you. And it puts a little, listen, I know it's April, but it puts a little bit of distance between the Mets and the Phillies, which is a good thing. They kept Bryce Harper in check. Although up until yesterday, the Philly lineup had really been struggling. And then yesterday,
Especially Schwarber.
Oh, yeah, don't tell my fantasy team that.
Yeah.
But they got to match up Tyler McGill and Aaron Nola. When you look at it on paper, that should be advantage Phillies. Tyler McGill was really good in that start. The next day was Sanchez and pitched the second. Peterson pitched the day game.
Senga.
Was it Senga? Yeah, and Senga was, really good. And then David Peterson and Zach Wheeler. You found, like we said about in the playoff game, they found a way to win the Zach Wheeler start, which was so criminally important. And then they find a way to win the Nola start. Offensively, the Mets were solid, and pitching just got the best ERA in baseball. So the Mets sweeping the Phillies. I don't think they see each other again for quite a bit. So we'll see what happens there.
The offense is on fire without Soto doing anything. So who would have thought?
It's funny you say that, Dan, because Mark and I were actually having that conversation before you came in, and it was like, yeah, he's not hitting, 280 with 5 or 6 homers, but he's still finding a way to get some base hits. By the way, the Wednesday game, he throws Castellanos out at the plate. By the way, that was a great play by Hayden Senger. His
Yeah.
reward was getting optioned to AAA when Francisco Alvarez comes back. But listen, thanks for the but thanks for the memory. But in his defense, Brett Beatty, who homered off of Wheeler, also got optioned down. But no, but look, I, I think Soto's contribution, he's doing little things. He will get going eventually.
Yeah.
And right now, as of April 27th, which really means nothing, the New York Mets have the best record of baseball. Without Juan Soto getting hot, without Brandon Nimmo getting hot, you know, without Carlos Mendoza getting white hot. So, there's that too. On the other side of town, Dan, you brought this up in the intro. Friday night was a tough one for the Yankees
Yeah.
because of Devin Williams again having an issue.
Yeah.
Do they have a big Devin Williams issue?
Yeah, I mean, on a temporary basis, they may put Weaver if they haven't done so already, as the closer, or as I like to call it, the transition to Weaver becoming the closer full time. Devin Williams, he's not a bad reliever. He's not. But he got so psyched with Pete Alonso last season, exposing him for what he truly is. He hasn't been the same pitcher since. And look, I was all for trading for him for sure. I had no issue with it. But man, has he been very, very disappointing. And all I could say to that is, just get him out of the closer role. Like it's not it. Look, he hasn't. That was his first blown save on Friday, but he's had a lot of close calls. So I would just keep him out of the closer role for good.
Do you
And it's
think the
okay. You can reinvent yourself as a good reliever, like middle of the pack or even like a bridge. Like, but you can't be in that closer role. It's way too risky right now.
and by the way, he's got experience in the eighth inning. He came up. He was the setup man for Hader. So, but do you think maybe the fact that he's going to be a free agent for the first time is weighing on him, or do you just think, man,
I, I think he just
he's
got
got issues?
psyched. I think he has issues.
Uh, just to go through it for a second. To your point, Dan, it's the first blown save, but the ERA,
It's wild, dude.
yeah. See if I can big thing. He's got an ERA over 11 right now. Like that's just it's not good enough. The whip is at 2.38. And so let me ask you this. Why weren't they confident enough in Luke Weaver being the guy? Because he did such a great job
Well,
last year.
he closed the playoff games and did very well,
Yeah.
and still is doing very well. Um, I think they wanted a certified. They tried to beef up the pitching this offseason, and obviously it's going. It's not great so far. Um, I don't know that they. I think they wanted a someone that they knew was a closer already. But the problem is Luke Weaver closed playoff games and did it very well. So they think it would they gave a prospect and Nestor Cortez, right? So it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. I don't know why they didn't have that confidence in him. With that said, I think they should have confidence in him now.
I think they have to have confidence in him now. Trust two guys who've known what it's like to have closers who can't close games. You need to have faith in someone in that pen.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what happens. The Yankees finish up a series with the Toronto Blue Jays doubleheader rained out yesterday. I believe I heard it's a single admission doubleheader, so this is the best kind. All right, Mark, we are gonna get into a topic I know you wanted to discuss after the Aaron Judge moment of last week and what happened to the Mets on Friday night. So let's paint the picture. Last Sunday, the Yankees are in Tampa playing the Rays. Aaron Judge hits a ball no one can find still. And the call on the field was a foul ball. After review, call on the field stood. How, we don't know because that ball certainly looked fair. Friday night during the Mets Nationals game, Jesse Winker hit a line drive that was trapped by the first baseman. It was rolled a catch, set up a triple play.
This is worse.
And the Mets lose the game. So, Mark, I'm coming at you with this. One, do we have an issue with replay in baseball? And two, why is everything not reviewable if we have the technology?
First things first, Aaron Judge's home run was 40 feet fair. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, they lost it in the trees.
Yeah,
it looked like
that ball is gone. I mean, it disappeared. He pulverized it, and I looked at this from a lot of different angles. I'm 5'8". Okay, that's 7 of me laid across. That's how fair the ball is. Enough said. What happened with the Mets is an absolute shanda. It was horrible. Throwing a little Yiddish out there. To answer Mike's first question, do we have a problem with replay? Just off these two instances alone, yes, but I've seen more than it just being on these two. Throughout the season, we've seen bad calls with replay. Yes, there's a problem. There has to be some type of change or whatnot. Second part of the question, why isn't every play reviewable? I have absolutely no fucking clue. You initiate one challenge. The challenge should cover anything you want on the field for the play it is, whether it's a trap ball, whether whatnot. I understand you could get a crew chief challenge on certain plays, but as far as I understood, Mets could challenge and he trapped it. But no, I don't know why exactly.
the rule was like it's in front of the base, so it's the umpire's judgment.
Which is bullshit. Sorry.
No, you're not wrong. And Mendoza went out and he wanted the other umpires to huddle it up. Which
he wanted, but he wasn't going to get that.
He wasn't going to get that.
No, so sorry, Dan.
I don't know. It's very frustrating. Like, what's the point of having replay if we're not going to get things right? And why is it that we have all this technology all these years from now? We've had an instant replay since 2008. How is it that we don't have the rules in place where we could review that? Why is a trap ball that was very obviously a ground ball? Let's be real. It was very obvious. I watched it live. It was a ground ball. How come a play like that that's called out on a line drive catch, which is not, how is that not reviewable? Like it's crazy. Like I even think back to, and this affects the Mets too, with the McCutchen play in Philly when They said that he ran off the baseline, but didn't. He didn't veer off the path, and the Mets got a double play and end of the inning, like things like that. And then it's wild to me how we have plays that are deemed unreviewable. Why? We have the technology. Fix it. And another big thing is, before I get to you, Mike,
Yeah.
is there's no big outrage from these MLB teams. Like, can these teams go to the umpire, go to the league, complain to the commissioner, hey, look, we have replay across all of Major League Baseball that we could review, we could look at. Why not expand the reviewable rules? Why isn't there more outrage about that? So, for that sense, I blame the owners and I blame the players as well for not having more outrage towards the commissioner for coming up with a set of review stuff that can be reviewed.
And I wonder to this point if that'll be part of the next CBA negotiations, which will take place eventually. But Dan, to your point, the point of replay, any sport, is to get the call right. That's all we want. We want you to get the call right. And I feel as if in baseball, they, I don't know if it's the fact of the other umpires don't want to show up their friends. I don't know if it's, hey, if we're going to keep getting these wrongs, they're going to replace us with the robotic ump or whatever. But I feel like in baseball, more so than any other sport, it's a consistent question of why the hell do we have it if you're not going to get it right? And we're going to consistently question the umpires. And we're going to consistently question, well, why can't Carlos Mendoza challenge a ball that's clearly trapped? Why, on a ball that Aaron Judge dismantled and was clearly fair, no, we're going to just call it a foul ball and we're going to leave it at that. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, that Aaron Judge home run was challenged, by the way. I think Aaron Judge challenged it, but I mean, Rob Sky, it doesn't make any sense, dude. Makes no
No,
sense.
it doesn't. I mean, we don't have to repeat everything that Dan just said and Mike just said. They said it all. A call should be reviewable no matter what it is. That's it. Plain and simple. You use your challenge and you're wrong. That's it. Fine. Whatever. You lose your challenge. But it's everything needs to be reviewable.
Not one
And maybe
umpire.
it shouldn't be umpires looking at it. Maybe it
Yeah.
needs to be someone who's an independent viewer.
Yeah. Or what do they have? They have in football now the
Under
automatic
2 minutes, calls from the booth.
that or the if they see something on the field, they can ring the
They
umpire
could change it,
and
yeah.
they can change the call.
Yeah.
Now I don't think that would have benefited the Mets because I think someone was still out, right? Or was everyone safe? I didn't
So
see.
so I think if they had done that, I think the only out would have been Winker,
Right.
technically, because Nimmo and I want to say it was Vientos broke on the contact.
Okay.
So and the play initially was at first base. So
Okay.
I think they would have had second and third with one out, down 2 runs.
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
So look,
But yeah, like just stuff like that they're not implementing or refuse to implement. It's like, what are you afraid of? What and these umpires, I don't want to put them on full blast. They're really trying their hardest. Like it is a hard sport to
yeah.
officiate, but we need to we need to hold, and I say this about every official in any
Yeah.
sport. We need to hold them accountable after games and be
Yep.
like, "Hey, look,
They should be talking to the media as well.
hey, we saw this play where it was very obvious it hit the ground and you called it out. Why did you call it out?" And it's not a bad thing.
And
We're just
listen,
trying to hold them accountable.
if you hold your hand up and say, "Look, I missed the call. I made a mistake." Listen, the teams won't forgive you, but listen, accountability. You're right, Dan. That's a necessity in all these sports. I messed up. Okay, things happen.
Like I'm just sick and tired. If anything, basketball probably does it the best, where they won't necessarily admit wrong, but they know it was determined. I think hockey is also that way too. But
And the NBA also releases that last 2 minute report
right,
the next day, and then you could go from there. So,
yeah,
oh, hey, the refs was this call, this call, this call. It's just,
yeah. And I know football sometimes offers apologies, but uh, oh, you
an
caused
apology doesn't help you at
no.
that point.
We need to hold officials accountable.
Yes.
But of course, they're gonna run and hide and then go into witness protection, by these leagues.
Oh,
I'm
no,
I'm
you're right.
I'm rambling too much. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, I think it's an important topic because not just the Judge play or the Met play, it's a general idea. Because the thing I've gotten is on things that are too close, I think the plan is, hey, I'm not going to show up my buddy. The call of the field's going to stand. But we're going to get those bang bangs, but they're wrong at some point. But listen, I'm with you on expanding of replay. I think it's a necessity now. And maybe it gets addressed during the next CBA. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. On to the next. All right. We're going to do a top five. But before we start, I'm going to go to both of you guys. I want you to list the ballparks where you have seen a baseball game. And Mark, I will start with you.
I've been much, okay.
Just name ballparks where
Seen
I've
a
seen a
game.
baseball
So
game.
don't tell me you saw a Billy Joel concert at Yankee Stadium because I don't care.
Okay. What was oh God? I had season tickets at Shea Stadium. I was there a lot, but I was
Okay,
at Mets
all
Mets
right, so
Shea Stadium.
Shea City.
Shea City, easy. I've been to both Yankee.
Okay,
I've been to Wrigley. I've been down to Miami. I've visited Texas, Baltimore,
wow,
PNC, and Dodger Stadium.
damn, that's a pretty impressive list.
Mhm.
Dan, you.
Top five. I've only
No, no,
been
no, no, just the ones you've been to.
just the ones I've been to. Okay. Um, well, both Shea City,
Mm-hmm.
both Yankee Stadium, so there's four. Comerica, five.
That's
Nats
right. You were in
Bronx, six.
Detroit.
Trying to think if I've been to others. I don't think I've been to others. I've been outside Citizens Bank. I mean, I drive there a lot because my sister lives in Pennsylvania, so we drive through Philly all the time. Um, I've been outside Camden Yards. I don't know if that counts. I didn't watch a game there, but I see what it looks like, you know?
And you've been to Nats Park, haven't you?
National Park, yeah. So six in terms of watching baseball.
Okay. So for me, I've been to City and Shea, both Yankees, and I was in Seattle.
Okay.
So here's what where I'm going with this to everybody watching. Top 5 ballpark you want to go to watch a game to which you haven't been to yet.
Okay.
Well, that's an easy one.
That's gonna be a little bit of a tough one, but
Yeah, it's a tough one for you because you've been to the big ones.
yeah, but there's a few I want to go to. So, all right.
So I'll start with you. What's the first
All
one?
right. Well, I do want to go to Seattle, and not necessarily just to watch the game. I want to see somebody eat a cup of crickets. I want to see if this is a true thing.
I thought
That's
you were
what
going
I
to say I
want.
want to go
That's
to
the
the fish market.
no. I want to see somebody eat a cup of crickets. But sure hell ain't gonna be me. I want to go to Arizona. I hear not only is it a gorgeous park, but the food is really good. I would love to go to Kansas City. See, would love to watch a ball game like that from there. Uh, so that's 3, right? I would like to. I mean, I wish it could go back to old Tiger Stadium. You can't do that. But Minneapolis, Minnesota Twins, only because of Little Big League. Just to say, hey, I watched it from there. And then, last but not least, for me, I would like my coffin brought down the lanes of Atlanta Braves Stadium and have the Mets logo, everything out, and have pyro going off. And that's how I end it.
That's how
That's how I end my viewing of all stadiums, and that's how you go down in history.
Okay. Dan, for you.
So, Fenway.
Yeah.
I have to go to Fenway Park at some point, right? Wrigley. If I ever go out west, I need to see Dodger Stadium. So 3. Then this gets a little trippy here. But after LA, I would love nothing more than to see PNC Park in Pittsburgh. Because I mean that ballpark looks sick. 1. And 2, like, I'm a big Clemente guy, so I was like, I want to see Clemente.
Mm.
So, you know. So that there's 4. And then 5, I need to go to Camden Yards to actually watch a game. Now, if anyone counts being outside the stadium and seeing what it looks like, an honorable mention I'll give would have to be Minute Maid Park or wherever they call it nowadays. So
It'll forever be Minute Maid. Don't worry about it. Do not worry. It'll forever be Minute Maid.
Yeah. Yeah, Houston. I want to see Houston's ballpark.
Mm.
Though I wanted to see it when they had that hill in center field.
Oh, the Carlos
Yeah.
Beltran Hill.
Yeah. They got
What was
rid
the
of
other?
it. They got rid
Who's
of
the
it
other
to get the
Houston
American
player?
made style, but yeah.
The one Houston player who also ran back and caught one up on the hill and then sat down and asked for time. Center fielder.
Oh,
I can picture him in my head, but I can't think of the name right now.
the only guy I remember catching a ball on that
Lance
hill,
Berkman.
Beltran.
Lance Berkman.
That's right. They did play Berkman in center field for a bit.
The Lance Berkman. It took me a while.
You know what? It gets you because you forget Berkman played center field because he played first base and right field often. All right, for me, I'm actually going to start somewhere neither of you guys said. I want to go to Coors Field.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
I mean, Denver's not on my top 5 list, but
Yeah, but to have a Coors Light at Coors Field,
To
yeah,
have
that
a
would be
Coors Light above sea level sounds pretty
cool.
good.
I don't know. I don't know how I would deal with Denver. You know,
I don't listen. I think it'd be fun. Plus, you're probably going to get an offensive explosion of a ball game
that ballpark is
in that ballpark. So
small. It is
that
small.
would be up there for me. For I'm a big historical baseball guy, so the Fenways. Listen, I would love to go watch a game at Fenway, uh, especially if you could sit on top of the Green Monster.
Oh yeah.
That would scare the living crap out of me, just in case you fall. But I mean, see a game at Fenway would be awesome. Wrigley,
I need to sit in the bleachers.
yeah,
Watch a game.
I'm with you on that.
Like,
Wrigley, the Cup Snake, got to be a part of the
Yes.
Cup Snake in Wrigley. Um, Rookie of the Year also. Mark, you brought up Little Big League Rookie of the Year
Yeah.
with Wrigley.
Minneapolis. Yeah, Minneapolis.
Dodger Stadium. Uh, I mean, those historical sites, you gotta just go see it. And the last one, Dan, I think I'm with you. I would want to go. I want to go to Camden Yards.
mhm.
I think that looks like a really fun place to watch a ball game.
Yeah. I mean, and look, I've been to Baltimore several times. The vibes in Baltimore are pretty damn good when it's sports season. Like, people actually give a shit. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And look, they don't have much. They have baseball and football.
An honorable mention. I would love to watch a game in St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah, I've thought about St. Louis. I don't know. I'm not really intrigued by. I would have been more intrigued if it was the old Bush Stadium.
Mm.
But I guess that Bush Stadium looks nice too. So
See, I've never been to St. Louis. So I don't know.
yeah,
Hell,
it's a great city. Everything's downtown, which is wonderful.
listen,
I wish every sports city
I've
was.
only been to Chicago once, and it was for an hour layover.
Mhm.
Let
Same,
me be brutally honest.
like same.
But
Get some
Chicago,
McDonald's. You don't get out of the airport.
you can't leave the damn airport an hour layover. Oh man, well, that's top five list. Again, if you have an idea for us, comment below. We
Mm.
will definitely take your comments seriously. All right, on to series for the week. Dan, let's start in Camden Yards because your Yankees are going there this week.
Yeah, it's a trap series. I don't like this for the Yankees, especially after watching. And look, they have a doubleheader today. So let's see how they actually wrap up the series. But, right now the Yankees are struggling. They're really struggling. Um, the bats haven't been great. Obviously Judge is amazing. Paul Goldschmidt's pretty good too. He's up there. Um, what is it, 383 or something batting average? Something
I know
outrageous.
he's batting in the high 300s currently. Yes.
It's wild at his age. It's wild
Yeah.
how well he's actually playing. So
I just don't understand why teams are still pitching to Judge.
yeah, I
At
don't get it
this point,
either.
I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. But then of course with Volpe's struggling. He can't buy a hit. Jazz Chisholm, I think I'm not too worried about him, but he can't buy a hit either. Bellinger is going to be up and down in terms of power all season. So the guys that we need to get going aren't getting going. And then the pitching is hit or miss. So I don't like this matchup for the Yankees. I don't. It doesn't mean that the Orioles aren't great either. But one thing that I've learned about history is that you get two teams that are iffy together, one of them's bound to come out on top. You hope it's your team, you really do, but I'm not confident.
Goldschmidt's at 364.
64, I'm sorry. But
So that is impressive.
But that's still very high. Like that's incredibly high.
Yeah. All right. So the Yankees are going to Baltimore. Mark, the Mets return home and they start a set with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
This again is going to be you're dealing with a team like we pointed out earlier who has a couple of players that are really on a big tear right now. So the Mets defense is definitely going to be challenged. The pitching's going to have to look tight against it. I'm looking for a big series out of Juan Soto and out of Francisco Lindor here. I don't think these two, I think Juan Soto is warming up, and I think Francisco Lindor is starting to look like the Lindor he was in Cleveland when he batted first. So watch for them to be pretty much a big part of the catalyst on why the Mets take at least 2 out of 3 here.
So it's 4, so maybe a split.
3 out of 4, sorry.
And I'll tell you what, the big thing for the pitching staff, they're going to run wild.
Mhm.
Arizona runs.
Well,
Like there's no tomorrow.
They're a scrappy bunch.
They're a young, fun team to watch. They really are.
Yeah, and
Yes.
what doesn't help the Mets is that they're in the toughest division.
Yeah.
The in my opinion, toughest division in baseball with the West. So you have a team that's very good in a very tough division you're facing. You know,
No, you're right.
never
Listen,
even
the NL West right now is
no.
loaded. Arizona's playing well. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. And the Giants and Padres are off to fantastic starts.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the Giants will play the Padres this week in San Diego. So see what happens there. But that should be an interesting series. We got a playoff rematch with the Tigers going to Houston to play the Astros. The Tigers right now, Dan, they look like they're the class of the American League.
Yeah. So far, what we've seen in those 17 wins is just pure, I wouldn't say magic. I don't think that's the right word, but it's just one of those things that you wish out of a baseball team, that you get everything is working, everything's coming together in place. You have the good pitching, you have the good hitting. It may not be the best looking lineup, but it's top notch enough. And slowly but surely, the Tigers are becoming one of the more stronger teams in the American League. I'm kind of jealous of the structure that they have right now because like it's manufacturing a lot of runs, not just via the home run, but they're getting the ball in play a lot. So
And they're getting contributions from everyone.
everyone.
Spencer Torkelson, Mark, is off to a good start.
I think I said that pretty much at the beginning of this season that he was my pick for whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
This kid is having the breakout year, and he's going to not do this. This isn't a fluke. This is the Spencer Torkelson we've all been waiting for to come up to the major leagues.
And here's the other thing. They're using Javi Baez to play everywhere. He played center field the other day.
Mhm.
And he's showing the best play discipline of his life.
Yeah, I never saw him as a utility guy. He's always been a shortstop or second baseman,
Yeah. And AJ Hinch said, nope, we're going to play you everywhere. He's accepted the role.
Mhm.
Which,
With the money that he has,
with the money he makes,
he has to.
I mean,
You know?
yeah. So the Tigers are going to play the Astros. And then we got the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. And I'm still waiting for the Blue Jays to get going. But when they get going,
The series against the Yankees may be the one that gets them going if they could wrap it up in good fashion.
and let me tell you something. Chris Bassett, Met legend, has been phenomenal. Gosman's pitched pretty well for the most part. They need to get the offense going a little bit. And then flip side to the Red Sox, they look like they're getting going. Devers looks like he's turning it around. Bregman, and they're getting their pitching all lined up behind Crochet. So see what happens there. All right. Before we go, anything else? Anything wanted to be hit on?
I'm married. I shouldn't be hit on.
I want to say something, but I'm not going to. Mark, you got anything for the dugout?
Well, the dugout is been doing some real different moves, and I'm proud to say me and a couple people meeting with attorneys this week, and an LLC is about to begin. I'm very excited.
Yes.
Double the L on the C. All right.
Yeah.
That'll
AJ Minter just put on 15
injured
days.
list.
Yeah,
His
it looks.
triceps.
Yeah, they're saying I don't think it was his tricep though. I look more his shoulder, but
They're calling it a lat strain.
wonderful. So we'll see him in 3 months.
Well, in defense of that, I'll say this: I'd rather have him hurt in April than
October.
right. And the Mets did bring back Brooks Raley, so when he's ready to go,
Yes. Yes.
that'll be important.
Yeah, they selected the contract Jose Urena from the Syracuse Mets. So
Famous for throwing at Ronald Acuna Jr.
I
There you
want to get that point in before we leave.
Yeah.
No, you're good. All right, that'll do for this edition of the Batter Up podcast, sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood, live every Sunday. So check us out on the YouTube page. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Check out the website, thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for great blogs, vlogs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Follow us on the socials: Facebook, the Sports Insanity Network; Twitter, S Insanity Real. For the old ops guy and for Danny Boy Reginald, I'm Mike Rifke. We'll talk to you all next week when it'll actually be May.
Very.
On Batter Up.
Yeah.
So have a good one, everybody.
Peace and love and for chicken. As always.
And we'll catch you